You go on field trips, the Bentway, Jane and Finch Center, St. Mike's Hospital. What is it at each of those places that you're attempting to teach?
Well, the course is on this week, so we started yesterday.
It's on this week, excuse me.
Yeah, that's okay. We started yesterday, and we went to U of T Scarborough to learn about social prescribing for students. And we know that young people's mental health is really, really in decline these days. And we did some really simple stuff, and it allowed the students to come together and form a community really quickly. This was a group of urban planners, public health folks, and public policy people, and a sprinkling of others.
People who
never
would
met
normally
before.
get together.
Yeah, people who wouldn't normally get together. And we drummed together. We played ukulele. We did some fun physical activity games. And by the end, everyone was laughing and had made a new friend. And they wrote reflections at the end of the day. And many of them were saying, I haven't had fun in a long time. I haven't given myself permission to play sports or play music or be around others because it seems like when you get to graduate school, you have to get serious and all those other joyful and playful parts of life just get stripped down. And they're at the end of their exam season too, so they're tired. So that's one of the things that we get to do is just be together and feel again by experience how good it feels to do some of those really simple things. Yeah.
So I pitched in the interview, or in the intro rather, the idea of gardening or going and getting a ticket to see a museum as a method of social prescribing. But you went to the Bentway. I think about the giant, like the human-sized dominoes that they had going throughout Fort York and the entire Bentway that brought together a lot of people, right? Is
Absolutely.
that an example?
It is an example. And I did a piece of research with the Bentway over the summer, and we asked people how it felt to be there and to be parts of those kinds of activities, like the dominoes that went all across many blocks of the city. And they said it did make them feel healthier, it did make them feel a sense of belonging, and it made them want to come back. And what we found in the research in social prescribing is those people who are able to give back as volunteers or even just sharing a seat or a smile with someone, they have the biggest improvements in self-reported health and well-being. When you shift your focus from someone as a care recipient or someone with problems to I have something to offer, no matter how small, it makes a big difference. And so opportunities to volunteer and be part of the community and give what we can give are really, really important. And in times of crisis and big geopolitical change and the need for, made in Canada solutions, this is something that can bring us together as neighbors really locally.
Yeah, the big giant domino example is not going to be an example for everybody. Partly it may be geography. You're nowhere close to the downtown. You don't come into it. Maybe you avoid it. But for others, it's like, that's not my interest. What do you do for them then?
Yeah, it doesn't need to be a big social activity. Not everybody is a big social person. And so it really does focus on what's important to you. And we see that great examples of that, for example, in harm reduction for people who use drugs, that you often need a safe and trusting relationship and community before you're ready to access other kinds of services, whether it's housing or healthcare. And so just asking what's important to you, we get really interesting answers that can be very small. So a group of older adults in Temiskaming, what they really wanted was pet sitting, so that they could leave their homes and go do things and not be worried about their pets at home. Nobody would have thought of that on the service provision side. So it's deprofessionalizing some of that, asking human questions. Maybe you just want to repair your relationship with your dad, and then you can start thinking about some of the other health things that are on your plate. So it can be as small as that. It can be art on your own. It can be nature walks with one other person. It really, really varies depending on what your needs are and what your strengths are.
Kate? All sounds amazing. Thank you so much for telling us about it, and thanks for coming in early. You've got a full day and a full week teaching this course. Appreciate it.
Thanks so much, David.
That's Kate Mulligan, who's an assistant professor at the University of Toronto, who is right now teaching a postgrad course in social prescribing. Kate's also the founder of the Canadian Institute for Social Prescribing. It is 6:47. Let's check in with Jennifer.
Eastbound 401 in the express at Huron, Ontario, a collision involving a delivery truck is blocking the left